Various road construction projects may require the use of flaggers as part of the operations. In these situations, it is no exaggeration to say that the flagger's job is the most important one on site. The lives of everyone, the traveling public, the construction crew, and the flaggers themselves, are all in the hands of the flagger. Any lack of attention or a mistake could mean the difference between life and death. It is imperative that flaggers be alert, well-trained, properly equipped, and correctly outfitted to do the job.
So we were doing snow removal operations. I had the northbound lane stopped. My partner had the southbound lane stopped. And he was released the southbound lane, and I turned to make sure the southbound lane was flowing freely and waving them through. And a lady came from a frontage road and she clipped me. And I took my eyes off traffic. In that split second of me taking the eyes off the traffic, I got hit.
As a MnDOT safety administrator, I'm often called to the scene where there's a serious injury or fatality in a work zone. Through years of investigating crashes, I've learned the flagger is a key player in preventing injuries and fatalities in work zones. Flaggers are the first line of defense in preventing vehicles from entering the work zone and for warning others of potential dangers. By preparing yourself with proper personal protective equipment, staying attentive at all times, and never turning your back on traffic, you can prevent serious injuries and fatalities from occurring in the work zone.
An effective flagging operation is not something that just happens. It's the result of planning, proper training, and the use of good flagging procedures. This program was developed to help you prepare to be a flagger. As a flagger, you're in contact with the public more than anyone else on the job. Your attitude and appearance directly affect the public's view of operations. A flagger's responsibilities are critical in keeping the work zone safe. Remember, your job as a flagger is the most important one on the work crew. The lives of you, your fellow workers, and motorists will depend on you.
Your first responsibility as a flagger is to have the proper clothing and equipment in good condition. Improper equipment reduces the driver's ability to understand your instructions. Neat dress and appearance also help you gain the driver's respect, making your job that much easier. On all MnDOT projects, your clothing shall include a clean vest, pants, and a hat that meet ANSI requirements. This clothing makes you more visible to traffic and makes you stand out from the other workers. A hard hat may also be required on site if stated by the project's contractor. An air horn or whistle are optional tools that you can use to warn coworkers if a vehicle appears likely to run into the work area. The main traffic device used by flaggers is a stop-slow paddle. This sign is octagon shape, at least 18 by 18 inches, with 6-inch high letters. The paddle shall be mounted on a handle that measures at least 5 feet from the ground to the bottom of the sign. A 7-foot mounted height is recommended to make the paddle more visible. Before beginning any flagging operation, advanced warning signs must be in place. During emergency flagging operations, flagging may begin before warning signs are in place, but warning signs should be put in place once they become available. For most flagging operations, warning signs will include a road work ahead sign, a 1-lane road ahead sign, and a flagger symbol sign. In some cases, other advanced warning signs, such as a "Be prepared to stop" sign, may be used. With advanced warning signs in place and with proper equipment, the flagger may now begin controlling traffic. Drivers are often tired, inattentive, or impaired, requiring you to remain alert on your feet facing traffic at all times. Never turn your back to oncoming traffic and never stand directly in the path of approaching traffic. Locate your flagging station in a highly visible area. Park your own vehicle off the road away from your flagging station. Avoid standing where the sun is behind you and avoid standing in the shadows obscuring you from approaching drivers. Allow yourself an emergency escape route away from the path of errant vehicles. Make sure you're visible to oncoming traffic by standing alone away from other workers and worked vehicles. Any relief person must be properly attired with clothing that meets the ANSI requirements. Generally, flagging operations require 3 basic skills: stopping, releasing, and slowing traffic. To stop traffic, stand on the shoulder of the roadway with the stop paddle away from your body toward the near edge of the pavement. Raise your free hand with the palm exposed to the approaching driver. Look directly at approaching traffic and make eye contact with the driver. After you've stopped the first vehicle, remain on the shoulder of the road. This is your normal flagging location. You should never stand in the traffic lane. However, after stopping the first vehicle, if drivers of approaching vehicles are unaware of your presence, it may be necessary for you to stand in the traffic lane. You may only stand near the center line. Do not cross the center line. When you are satisfied that the drivers of all approaching vehicles are aware of your presence, you should move back to your normal flagging location on the shoulder. Keep your paddle on stop until you are safely on the shoulder of the road. Only then may you release traffic. Remember to watch out for traffic that may be coming from behind you by looking over your shoulder. Never turn your back on oncoming traffic or stand in the path of moving traffic. To release traffic from the closed or open lane, turn the slow side of the paddle to face the vehicles. With your free arm, signal the drivers to proceed. Be direct and point in the direction you want the traffic to go. Never wave the paddle. After all the vehicles have passed, turn your paddle to display stop and wait for the next vehicle. In some cases, you may not need to stop traffic, but only slow it down. In these cases, always stand on the shoulder of the road. Display the slow paddle to oncoming traffic. Use your free arm to motion traffic to slow down. Remember, never stand in the path of oncoming traffic.
If you learn these 3 basic skills, stop, release, and slow traffic, you'll be well prepared for any flagging operation. Situations will vary, and how you apply these skills will differ from project to project. Remember, never start any flagging operation without the proper equipment, stand in a highly visible and safe location, and never turn your back on approaching traffic. Now let's look at some typical situations a flagger may face.
The first situation is a single flagger operation. Sometimes only one flagger is needed to control traffic on a low-volume, 2-lane road. Where only one flagger is used, the work area must be short and on a straight section of roadway. The flagger must be visible to approaching traffic from both directions. In this situation, the flagger is positioned in the closed lane at the beginning of the taper. The flagger stops the traffic approaching in the closed lane. When the open lane is clear, the flagger allows traffic to proceed. Remember, a single flagger operation is only acceptable for low-volume conditions where there is good sight distance from both approaches and the work area is short. The second situation involves only one flagger restricting only one direction of traffic. An example of this is an area where trucks are loading or unloading and are blocking the lane. The flagger stops traffic in the usual manner. Once the work has been completed and the way is clear, the flagger releases traffic. When releasing traffic on a 2-lane highway where traffic is stopped temporarily in only one lane, turn the paddle a quarter turn so that the word stop faces you. In this position, the sign is parallel to the shoulder of the road so that neither stop nor slow can be read by motorists approaching from either direction. The stop message will then not confuse the traffic moving in the opposite direction. The third situation, probably the most common, is the 2-flagger operation. When 2 flaggers are used, they must be able to communicate with one another. This can be done by using radios, which is the preferred method. Other methods include keeping visual contact or using the flag-carrying method. In these cases, one flagger is always in charge of the operation. If visual contact is possible in the work zone, then the operation normally works like this. One flagger displays the stop paddle and stops the traffic while the second flagger displays the slow paddle and releases traffic. The first flagger continues to display the stop paddle and stop all traffic until the second flagger turns his paddle to stop and gives the all clear signal. This signal tells the second flagger he may release his traffic by displaying the slow paddle. The all clear message can be given visually by using a hand signal such as lifting one's hand. Be careful, however, not to use hand signals that may confuse the motorist. When visual contact is not possible, such as over hills or around curves, then radios are the best way to maintain communication between flaggers. If radios are not available, then the flag carrying method is another way to maintain communication between the flaggers. The first flagger hands a flag to the last car allowed to go through. When that car reaches the second flagger, he hands him the flag. Having received the all clear, the second flagger can now allow traffic to flow safely in the opposite direction. This operation is very simple, but the flagger must be assured that the driver of the last vehicle will pass the flag to the other flagger. Remember, communications between flaggers is vital, and radios are the best way to maintain communication. An advance flagger may be used where there is limited sight distance to the activity area or where long lines of traffic form. In a situation such as a limited sight distance, the advance flagger should stop each vehicle and inform the driver of the situation ahead. Where there are long lines of stopped traffic waiting to proceed, the advance flagger should move down the line and inform each driver the reason for the delay and the approximate length of that delay. The fourth situation is the use of a pilot car for traffic control. This method works best when the route is particularly long or dangerous, or where the work area changes so often that proper signing is difficult. The pilot car is used to guide a train of vehicles through a job or detour. This operation uses a flagger at each end of the one-lane section. Additional flaggers may also be used at intersections within the work zone to prevent cars from entering traffic against the direction the pilot car is leading the traffic. In this type of operation, the flagger holds all traffic on each end of the work zone until the pilot car arrives and leads the traffic through the work zone. When the flagger has determined that the last oncoming car has gone through the work zone, the pilot car should turn around and lead the opposite direction of traffic through the work zone. The flagger should describe the last vehicle to the other flagger after the last vehicle is allowed to enter the work zone. Vehicles arriving late to the flagging station should not be allowed to proceed if the last vehicle has traveled more than 300 feet beyond the flagger station. A safe turnaround location should be provided for the pilot car at each end of the work zone. The vehicle selected for the pilot car should be lightweight and easy to handle. It should have the name of the agency or contractor clearly displayed. The pilot car "Follow Me" sign shall be mounted on the rear of the vehicle. The vehicle shall have amber lights that rotate 360 degrees. 2 or more pilot cars may be used to guide traffic through a particularly complex or dangerous detour. The fifth situation is a nighttime flagging operation. These procedures are generally the same as daytime except for some equipment changes. A flashlight with lighted wand, a retro-reflectorized vest, pants, hat, and a retro-reflectorized stop-slow paddle are required for all nighttime flagging operations. The work zone and flagger stations shall be illuminated with auxiliary lighting during nighttime operations. This is the safest way to flag at night. The more visible you are, the easier it is for drivers to see you and to follow your instructions. To stop an approaching vehicle, stand on the shoulder of the road holding the paddle away from your body. Do not stand in the travel lane. Hold the flashlight with the glow cone in front of your body to attract the driver's attention. To release traffic, turn the paddle to slow and direct traffic to proceed by pointing the flashlight into the open lane. Do not wave the flashlight while releasing traffic. This might confuse the drivers. The sixth and final situation deals with emergencies such as a broken utility line, crashes, or a washout. In these situations, the proper flagging equipment and warning signs may not always be available. In that case, a 24 by 24 inch red flag may be used for flagging traffic. Proper flagging attire must be worn in all emergency flagging operations. In emergencies, your first priority is to warn the public of the hazard. To stop traffic, stand on the shoulder of the road and extend the flag onto the roadway. Raise your other hand to the stop position. To release traffic, drop the flag to your side and with your free hand, motion traffic to proceed. Do not use the flag to motion traffic through. This confuses the drivers. To alert and slow traffic, the flag should be waved from the ground to shoulder height. As soon as the proper equipment is available, the stop-slow paddles should be used and warning signs should be placed.
Now let's summarize the 6 flagging situations we've just discussed.
Single flagger operation. This operation is acceptable for low volume conditions where there is good sight distance and the work area is short. A single flagger may be used to restrict one direction of traffic. This operation is normally used where one lane of traffic is periodically blocked. Two flagger operation. This is the most common flagging procedure. A flagger works on each end of the work zone to control the movement of traffic through the work area. Good communication between flaggers is critical during this operation. Pilot car operation. This method is used when the work zone is particularly long, dangerous, or complicated. Nighttime flagging operation. This can be a dangerous operation because of poor visibility at night. In all nighttime flagging operations, all traffic control devices must be retroreflectorized and the flagging stations shall be illuminated. Emergency flagging. Under emergency situations, 24 by 24 inch red flags may be used to control traffic until stop-slow paddles can be obtained.
Remember, no matter what flagging procedure is used, always stay alert. Face oncoming traffic. Stand alone in a good visible location away from other workers and work vehicles, and never stand in the path of approaching vehicles. Your job as a flagger is one of the most important jobs in the work zone. Everyone, including the motorists, fellow workers, and you, will depend on your ability to properly follow these flagging procedures. If you ever have any questions about flagging operations, don't hesitate to ask your supervisor.
You may refer to the Minnesota Flagging Handbook in the Field Manual for flagging layout examples and flagger situations. Flagging is one of the most important jobs in any construction, maintenance, or utility operation. It is also one of the most dangerous. However, with proper training, equipment, and procedures, flagging can be safe and effective. The lives of you, your fellow workers, and the safety of the driving public will depend on you.